Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a review on the new Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Powder, and I recently purchased this from Sephora for $43. It is available online and it will be available in stores on the 20th. I decided to go with the shade Pound Cake, though I was in between getting Banana Bread, but I feel like Pound Cake would match me more often than Banana Bread, and I really liked the tone of this. I don't have a powder quite like this tone. It's kind of in between translucents that I usually use and a traditional banana type powder. It definitely has that yellow undertone, and on Sephora's website it said it's good for fair, light, medium, and tan skin tones. I felt like this particular color included a very wide variety of skin tone, considering I do self-tan, that this would fit me depending on where I am in my self-tan. So I decided to go with Pound Cake. On my face, I'm currently wearing my favorite face combo, which is the Pixie Rose Flash Bomb and the Too Faced Peach Perfect Foundation, which I'm using the shade Sand. And I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in light medium. I feel a lot of people use Tarte Shape Tape, so I figured it would be a good concealer to use for this. And I'm just going to take my beauty blender and blend that out. I haven't bronzed up my face or anything like that or finished underneath my eye for eyeshadow. I typically do that after I'm done baking. So we're gonna go ahead and use Pound Cake now. And there is 20 grams of product for $43. The Laura Mercier, let's see. Laura Mercier is 29 grams of product and that's $48. So I feel like it's fairly comparable in price. Breaking it down, it might be a little bit more expensive. There is a stopper on this packaging. I like that it's square. Typically, I don't like square packaging, but this doesn't have any issue with spill out onto this section, which sometimes a lot of square packaging does. It does come with a very nice netting, and on the website, it was saying if you flip it over, tap twice, then you're gonna get the perfect amount of powder inside the netting. I personally like to use a little bit more than that, so I'm just going to take my beauty blender, and this is very heavily scented. You can tell as soon as you take off the top. And if you tried the foundation, it does have similar packaging to the powder, and it has the same fragrance, which I really like. I love the smell of the fragrance. This is a lot more fragranced than the foundation. If you felt like that was too much, you're definitely gonna think this is too much. And fragrance isn't good for your skin, and it's kind of in the middle of the ingredient list for where it falls, which I'd rather them put more money into ingredients than the fragrance, so good ingredients. I do like the fragrance nonetheless. Just not necessarily the best for your skin. I feel like when I press the sponge into the netting, it just falls back in. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump some of this into the lid. If you're using a wet beauty blender, I feel like it would cake up the netting too. Flying everywhere, man. So I'm just going to take that sponge, coat it with a decent amount of powder, and then just going to press it underneath my eye. I like to pull it down the side of my nose to help with the contour. Right here is a very problem area for me. I do like to pack on the powder right there, bring it down a little. You can bake your smile lines. I don't like to do that because then I can start to look a little bit cakey. After I'm done bronzing, I do like to clean up this area, but I haven't bronzed yet. But I'll just show you. I just run a little bit under there. And I do also like to bake my nose. It helps with the contour as well. I find this really difficult since it's so fragranced to be a baking powder, especially around the nose area. Like, I like the smell, but I definitely don't want to put perfume in my face, which I feel like this is kind of what it is. So it needs to cut back on that fragrance quite a bit. I just like to put a little on my forehead. It's already looking quite smooth, so I don't feel like I need to bake that area too much. But just to keep everything similarly highlighted. I'm just going to put a little bit there. You can pack this under the eye, T-zone, corners of the mouth, and chin, and then let set and bake for 3 to 5 minutes. So we're just going to let this sit there for 3 to 5 minutes. In the meantime, the powder is extremely finely milled. It just blends into the skin and feels really, really smooth. And it goes on super smoothly underneath the eyes. I was using a damp beauty blender, and sometimes you can see it kind of pick up in areas, but this looks completely smooth to me. This is supposed to create an airbrushed, long-lasting complexion, blur the appearance of pores and fine lines, and hold makeup in place all day. I did try this out yesterday, but I wanted to show on camera how it wears throughout the day and to give you my overall opinion in this video. So we're going to go ahead, dust all this product off. I'm using my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Jumbo Powder No. 3 brush. I always get comments about this, and it's from IT Cosmetics. It's huge, but it's awesome for either quickly powdering the face or dusting off any bake. So I'm just going to go ahead and dust all this off. So I feel like if you like a very brightened under eye, then this powder is definitely bright for my skin tone right now. My pores definitely look a lot smaller. I have a really problem pore on my nose, and it looks filled in right now. So far it looks really good. I just noticed a little bit of darkness there, so I personally would need a little bit of a brightening powder in my inner corners. But overall, if you don't have that kind of issue, because I have fairly deep set eyes, then I feel like it looks and feels really, really good. And at first, I thought it was a little too bright, but just making sure to dust all that away, I feel like the color is pretty good for me. So if you're similar in coloring to me, I definitely recommend Pound Cake. I'm just going to go ahead, finish off the rest of my face, come back, talk a little bit more about the product. We can do some flash test, all that kind of stuff. Finish my face, I'm just gonna clean up underneath my bronzer. I only smell this when I'm using it. As soon as it's on my face, the smell goes away. But it is very strong. I always do this part last. I don't like this sitting as long as the rest. So I like that underneath my eyes. I don't necessarily like that on my face. I think this looks amazing underneath the eye. It feels really good, super soft. It definitely does blur, though I feel like I can still see my wrinkles. It doesn't do anything magic there for me. But for my face, because this is a more golden undertone and I'm more neutral, I can definitely see the color difference in terms of that to my foundation, because I typically wear more neutral tones. So this, for all over my face, I wouldn't be able to get away with it. And the colors are more warm in the line. She has 8 shades. So for an all over powder, I would not use this. For my personal preference, I would not use this. I know a lot of people are golden undertones, so they could get away with it. I'm more neutral to cool sometimes. I wouldn't use this on the rest of my face because it just looks very apparent. Underneath my eyes, I definitely love yellow undertones. It looks really good so far. I'm now going to do a flash test. I'm also going to insert a picture of how this wore throughout the day. I already used this yesterday, so I know how it wears. So I just want to show you guys how it holds up and let me know what you think. Do you think it looks good? There's definitely zero flashback. It looks consistent. Looks really, really beautiful. It looks Photoshop in a flash compared to the photos that I accidentally took without my flash on. It looks way, way better. This is very, very flash friendly, I have to say. I love it. It looks so good in flash photography. I was worried this was going to look more dry on me. I totally forgot I didn't even set my face because I really loved how flawless this looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with my current favorite setting spray, which is the CoverFX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. See if this makes it even better, which it should. My skin definitely looked matte using this powder, and I actually loved how it looked without even setting my face, which is surprising. I love it even more with a setting spray now that I've done that, but I personally prefer a more dewy, luminous look. Granted, my setting spray is still drying down on my face and just melting everything together, but I feel like it's looking even better. And it doesn't look as dry underneath my eyes. It was looking a little bit dry, but all powders do on me. I'm normal to dry, as I said. I'm pretty normal right now, so it didn't look too bad. That's why I was like, I didn't even remember the setting spray, but looks even better on my skin. I'm loving how everything is melting in together. Let me know in the comment section below, do you guys like how it looks like on my skin? Do you like how it wore throughout the day? It's supposed to be a 10-hour wear, and I think it wears pretty good myself, and it looks really, really nice and smooth. I think it's exaggerating with the blurring wrinkles. There's only so much you can do, especially with the powder. I feel like sometimes it can actually exaggerate it, but it definitely has a smoothing effect. And in flash photography, it literally makes me look super smooth and airbrushed. This doesn't have a filter in it, this camera. It's the Canon G7X, and it looks like my Sony camera with flash. It makes it look super airbrushed. So I love how this looks in flash photography, which I hadn't tested prior, but I did test it yesterday and wearing it again today for the video, and I can tell you right now that I do really, really like it underneath the eyes. Do I necessarily like it on my face and my skin tone? No, because I do feel like it definitely deposits some color, and then when my face is more neutral or cool, and then having it be so warm underneath here where I like to clean up my contour, there is a contrast that I don't personally like. So I think it looks great underneath the eyes. I always use yellow undertones underneath my eyes, but for the rest of my face, since I'm not warm tone, it just doesn't work on my face for me. But I definitely recommend checking it out. If you guys are curious, there are 8 shades, and it's definitely going to fit a wide range of skin tones. I love how she came out with different tones so that everyone can try something to bake with. Not all setting powders are created equal for everyone, so it's great that there's a nice range there. Let me know if you are curious of this powder in the comments section below. I know I was scouring the Sephora app looking at reviews, and they're quite polarizing. People were giving it 1 star or a 5 star. So there's a lot of difference in opinions on this so far. I feel like people either love it or you hate it. I don't bake every single day, so I'm not going to use this every day, and I'm not going to use it as all over powder. But when I do bake, I'm definitely going to reach for this. It looks fantastic underneath the eye, and especially in flash photography. I have a wedding coming up, and I'm definitely going to use it for that because it looks phenomenal. So that is my overall opinion on the product. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.